Abby was right, and I am for
Who's gonna buy me ice cream?
you. Me.
No.
Me.
You.
I am for
Hello. Day 2 of us looking for a prospect for Michaela.
and many more to come.
Today we have a lead to go look at a dog and a rescue. We are going out there today. It's about 30 minutes away. Basically, we're going to temperament test this dog, about 5.5 months old. The adoption counselor said that he was super sweet, and they've had him for a while. Apparently, he came in with his litter, which is good, because that means they know more about him than if he were just to be like a random dog that they found like a stray. He came in with his whole litter, and
They probably have more of an approximate date because he probably came in as like a puppy, so they can kind of guess. Because when they're a puppy, obviously you can kind of see how old they are. A little better than if they're like anywhere from 2 to 10.
His sisters both got adopted, but he hasn't yet. So
he's been there for a couple months, just hanging out.
So we're going to do a temperament test, and we're going to see how he does. He looks to be like a foxhound lab mix is probably what we're thinking. She made it seem like he was pretty calm and chill around other dogs. He likes to play with other dogs, and you know, all the stuff that she said about him matched up.
So part 1 is we go one day, and it's just me and Brielle, and that for this dog it's today.
Right.
And we do the temperament test and just see how we mesh. And then depending on if it meets all our boxes, we can say, hey, you know, like we'd really like you to put a hold on this dog, and we will come back like within 48 hours and have my parents come and anybody else in the household and the dogs. And we said no to a lot of rescues. A good portion of them didn't allow holding, or they had same-day adoption only. So that was kind of frustrating. Some didn't have any dogs at all.
Some don't have dogs that will work for us. So, you know, it's kind of a toss-up. There was a lot of rescues that we had to cross off of our list. But there's this one that we're going to now, and then the other rescue that I am looking at is closer to me. So we are on our way out there now, and I'm not sure if they're going to let us record it.
Oh yeah, and then we've got a couple that like, we found some like dream dogs that like we're probably never going to get, but we applied for them anyways.
So, and then there was one from a golden rescue that is kind of like the dog.
Right.
But I don't know if it'll necessarily work out because they have a really long wait list. So, yeah. All right. So, we'll see you guys when we get there. So that clip that you just saw, the dog that I saw had arthritis, and it's not too difficult to tell that by how much I saw, but maybe the clip that I was able to actually get for you guys was a little short. But basically when the dog was walking, he would pant and whine a little bit, which was, you know, the handler had him walking beside the cart, and so he would whine and take steps and whine. And he was, you know, just seemed to be a little bit older and seemed like he had arthritis or some other medical condition that would make it painful to walk, just because he's a little bit older or something, I'm not sure. So yeah, it's not like too deep necessarily, and I didn't do anything because we were kind of on a time crunch. Otherwise, you know, normally I would let the manager or whoever know, because in our state, I know that it is, if there is a dog that is in a not healthy condition, you can get in pretty serious trouble for working that dog. As a service dog or therapy dog or whatever, you can get in pretty big trouble. So normally I would let somebody know, but due to the time crunch that we were on, I did.
Honey, you can't play in there. Honey, you gotta get out. Oh, did you see the price on this thing? Make a guess.
$500.
$299. $99. I mean, it's a pretty good playhouse for that price, but it's time to pee.
Police, you keep standing outside my window like that. I'm gonna call the police if you keep standing outside my window like that.
Oh, okay, bye.
Come knock on my door. I'll ring the doorbell.
They turned off the doorbell.
Hello?
Hi.
So basically what happened is we went out there, we met one dog from that first rescue, and he was really sweet and he passed the test and Michaela really likes him, but I am really hesitant on her going with the first dog she meets though. But I've told her that we had to test at least a couple other dogs. So we tested two other dogs. We went to another rescue and we tested, or a humane society, and we tested two other dogs. So well, I didn't test them because basically we met them and they were too short. Both of them were kind of high energy. One of them was definitely a lot more than the other. Those two were no-goes, and that rescue doesn't have any other dogs that are within the age range we're looking for. So basically we get to cross that one off the list. And so we're going back today
To Toby's rescue.
to Toby's rescue. We're also going back to the rescue that had the first dog we tested yesterday. And
We're bringing the boys.
we're bringing the boys to see kind of how he does around them, and we're also bringing her parents. So her sister was able to drive out yesterday and meet with the dog, and they got along fine. So now we just have to do the boys and the parents, and then also I would like to look at a couple more dogs. So we're going to this other rescue that Toby came from, and we are going to see what they have. There was one that I was looking at online that I would really like to meet, but I don't know if she's available to meet or what. I'm not sure what the deal is necessarily. You guys also know that when she got Toby
came home with heartworm.
Right, Toby came home with heartworm, and the rescue did not. The rescue told her he was heartworm negative, and that heavily affected
And when I asked
his
them,
life.
when I asked the vet to do it right away, they didn't, because our vet sucks. So first of all, new dog, no matter what, is going to a different vet.
We are not going to meet any dogs that they don't know too much about, because I have to make sure that they have some idea of age, because when she got Toby, they said, oh, he's 2. Pretty sure he was something like 4 when you got him, right? Because now he's probably something
7.
like 7. So, and obviously that's not okay either, because we need to be sure that we have the longest working life available. We are going to be sure that things like the heartworm test and that kind of stuff, like health information, that all has to be really solid. Also, they apparently, I wasn't there, but they really apparently brushed Michaela into taking Toby. The other thing is that I got a call from the rescue we were looking at that has only Goldens, and they had a dog that we were like, wow, this is the
dream dog.
Right. And I called them and left a message, and they called me back while we were in the meeting with this first dog. And they told me that basically they just started opening up after COVID. They're not even sure if she's available anymore. And
There's 180 applications before us.
There's 180 applications on the waiting list. They said that the waiting is usually like 6 months, and I'm like, okay, well, that's not something we can do right now. And then after we meet some dogs here, we have to rush back home, get the boys, and meet her parents out at this first dog rescue.
I don't think that's the end of the world. Toby was not the first dog that I met. He was the second, and then I was pushed into it, because he passed and the first dog did not. And actually, I don't know as if Toby would have passed had the previous trainer taken him and our family dog Mia outside and walked past each other for like a half an hour and worked on slowly introducing them. Because originally he was just not happy about it.
Well, what happened with the first dog?
The first dog we met passed the temperament test, but as soon as it saw Mia, it got aggressive and was like lunging at her, tried to bite her, and everybody was like, no, we're not doing this. And I was like, I didn't understand why. Because Mia was the first dog we got, like the first dog we looked at, because my dad was the second dog. When we met Toby, he passed the temperament test. He didn't get aggressive towards me, but he was very, like, he was barking and he was just very nervous, if I remember correctly. We didn't film that temperament test, and God, I wish I would. And we didn't bond right away. I was looking for that same attachment that I had to my family dog, and I didn't feel it right away. And it wasn't even until after family dog passed that me and Toby started to bond. And that was because there wasn't a second dog in the picture, which is hard to talk about, but...
Right, because I wonder if, and this is difficult, but I do wonder sometimes if you're like a single dog person.
I probably am. But the nice thing about this current situation is that Toby's going to live with my parents, and hopefully I can focus energy on the new dog and also start to work on
Toby's separation.
Working on his separation anxiety, because if we don't work on it and we get to the beginning of the school year, it's going to be painful. So I would like to minimize that. I would like Toby to start sleeping in my parents' room for a couple nights and like see,
Or with your sister, maybe.
or with my sister, not hanging out in my room all the time, those kind of things.
The first dog she met yesterday, how did you feel in terms of meeting him? Like what was your reaction?
And you guys might be like, well, that's not the right dog if it does that, obviously, like, go at it. But I hate criticism, so good luck. He ran up to me pretty quickly, and he, like, jumped in my arms, and he was licking me. And Toby, he did not do that at first. He didn't run in my arms at all, but he didn't even, like, pay me any attention at first, so that was hard. But this dog ran up to me and was licking me. He was very curious in his environment, but I chalked that down to, well, he's in a different place, he's meeting new people. I'm hoping that when we go back today, he'll be like, oh, we were here yesterday, okay.
Right,
you know,
because he was really interested. The thing that was concerning to me a little bit is that he was really interested in his environment and in environments that he had been in before. So the thing is that I really would like to see maybe a more people-focused dog.
I don't know if as I saw it as like the most awful thing to ever happen, at least the environment thing.
No, I just take it as a like 1 point in the negative column.
Right.
He passed the temperament test. He didn't get like a perfect score or anything, but if I were to like score it all out, there was like a couple things where it's like, well, I wish he would have been able to do that faster. Like
the treats.
So there's a part in the temperament test where you hide a treat under a blanket, and you see if their nose is strong enough and their problem-solving skills are strong enough to get it out. He would sniff for it for a minute and like just sniff. He wouldn't like try to get it out or anything. He would just sniff for it, and then he would give up for a few minutes, and I would have to call him back over. So scent training wise, that's not great. And then also like problem solving wise, like offering different things in order to get treats is not great. We might film temperament tests at this rescue, we might not. We'll have to see what they...
Yeah, we tried to call ahead and let them know we were coming, but they're not open yet. I did text the owner. She knows we're coming. But she's not there. She's out of town, so that'll be interesting for sure.
So,
I'm speeding. Okay.
This will be a fun, exciting day. So, see you guys in a little bit. Hold on to you so you can get out.
Is Sally? Sit. Can you sit? Sally. Can you sit?
Sit. Sit. I know, it's a trait. Sit. Off. Oh my gosh. No. Here, you take. Ow. Hey, Sally. Hey, sit. 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 No.
Go try going back like they did, like how Jude does.
I should have done that. Hey, sit. How did they do it yesterday?
Like this.
Oh.
Hey, sit.
No, like back.
Oh. Hey. Sit. Hey, Sally. There you go. Hey, girly girl. Okay. Sit. Sit. Good girl.
There we go.
Yeah.
Wanna try it with
trick
me
her
now?
into it.
She knows we have the full bag, that's the problem.
Yeah.
Hey,
Honey. Sit. Sally, sit.
So she kept it close to her face, like a
Sit.
more like luring technique. So yeah,
Sit.
keep it close to her face.
Sally.
She found one.
Clean it up. Sally, sit.
There you
Yay, good job.
go. So yeah, she's still luring right now, which is fine.
second rescue dog, more bruising.
Were you not expecting that?
Yeah, I was
Because you'd be wrong.
Well, it's gonna be hot, which is why I chose shorts, but.
Good job. Good job, good job. Hi.
You better not be camera shy, my dude. I gotta film you. That was really good.
Gabby was right, and I am forever wrong.
Who's gonna buy me ice cream?
You. Me.
No.
Me.
You.
You.
So we met two different dogs. We met a couple. So there was one dog that was she seemed
short.
really sweet, but she was too short and she was already a year old, so she wasn't going to grow anymore.
And she had puppies.
Right, which isn't necessarily horrible, but and then we met with another puppy that was
5 months.
He was like 5 months. No, wait, I'm talking about the boy.
Oh,
He was like just a couple months old, but he'd be big enough and everything. But first of all, he was dog aggressive. So, and as a puppy, you really don't want that. It's trainable, but it's not something that you want to go into service work with. And he was an Anatolian Shepherd mix. So, not him. But then we met, before we met that last puppy, we met a dog named Sally, and I am going to use her name. You can take it out if it doesn't work out, I guess. And she was really sweet. How did you feel about her?
I love her. It wasn't like the same as like the other dog jumping into my arms, but like she snuggled up she like snuggled with me and hugged me.
She passed the temperament test like really well.
Better than the dog from yesterday.
Better than the dog from yesterday. One thing that she wasn't fantastic with is when she met, there were two other dogs that were there, and I don't know how this first dog that we met does with other dogs yet. Like they said he does great.
One was like aggressive towards children, so like part of that, like I get if she was.
That's not the dog. What the heck are you talking about?
I don't know.
So the dog that we met yesterday, they said that he does great with other dogs, but we didn't get to see him with another dog. The dog we met today, we got to see her with other dogs, and they said that they had put her in a group with two other dogs, ones that were her same age, and she did fine after kind of a slower introduction. She's not aggressive, she's not whatever, she's not really even reactive, I would say, because basically when the other dogs came out, even after, like, you know, she would still turn around and focus on us, and like look at us and stuff. So, but basically she was a little anxious, like when meeting the other dogs. So we would go up and both dogs are on leash, and she would like sniff at the other dog and stuff like that, but she would seem to get a little bit nervous. She would need kind of a slower introduction. So, but then she would do fine. She would like wag her tail and want to play. So we'll have to see how she does.
It's a lot better than Toby just looking at the dog being like
rough. We'll have to see how she does tonight with Toby.
Yeah, they're trusting us to do a little meet and greet in their little space, and then we'll most likely be taking her home for like a trial period.
So that is the plan.
That is our very crazy hectic plan.
Right, so right now we're driving home to get the boys. Okay, so we're gonna go meet up
with my parents at the other Humane Society and go see the other dog, because worst case scenario, if this girl dog doesn't work, then we'll go with our second plan.
We have to drive now. So we'll see you in a little bit. Okay, so it's been a little bit.
Hey, yo, key to the damn DDO. These are some weird signs.
So it's been a little bit since we met with that dog. So we met with the first dog that we met again. With the boys, Arlo and Toby are both here.
It was really strange.
It did not go great.
First of all, when we got there, they were like, "We're gonna meet outside," and I'm like, "Okay, cool. We just gotta watch Toby because obviously with his heart condition." But we had the boys on prong collars, and we were walking in, and she goes, "Oh, you have to put them on the flat buckle."
Which in some situations I can understand that. Like if a dog is like pulling and freaking out and even on a prong, I can understand why maybe you don't want that to get worse when the dog comes out. But however, both dogs were under control, and that's a level of communication. And they were gonna do an on-leash meeting. So to me, I felt that was weird. I
I felt that was a little strange. Just not something that I've dealt with before. So we had the boys on their flat buckles on leash, and we walked over to like this big field, and we were walking around kind of in a circle, and she was walking with the like adoption person was walking with this other dog, and when they walked in, he was barking like a lot and jumping, and I was like, okay, maybe he's just like excited, he's a puppy, so like, okay. And then Toby and Arlo started walking around the other dog, and the other dog would sniff them for a second and be like, fine.
And then the person would pull it away.
Yeah, the person would pull the dog away and the dog would start growling. So I'm not 100% sure if the dog was growling at the boys at Toby and Arlo, like when whoever he was sniffing at the time, or if he was growling because the woman was pulling him away. Either way isn't great, but there are different reactions. She kept saying the whole time, like, this is so weird, he's never done this before.
Which usually is code word
for they haven't tried enough, so they have no idea. So it did not go fantastic. He was fine with both of her parents, but obviously that's not.
So yeah, he's on the back burner.
We went into a pet store to kind of waste some time. We got a couple things for
new baby
for puppy, and I got some stuff I got a collar for Arlo. So yes, it's rainbow. So
yeah, and then we will head towards the rescue to pick up.
To have the dogs meet with her and then pick up puppy.
Yeah, to foster.
Yeah, we're fostering her for a couple days. We'll see if it works.
Because the owner is out of town. So
the owner of the rescue.
So they said that we could foster her for a couple days, and then I'll drive out and sign the paperwork, as long as everything goes well. Sunshine!
Have fun trying to take pictures of her in the dark.
Nope, not gonna happen. Sunshine!
What she's... Her tail really got in the way.
Sunshine! Sunshine! She's empty busy.
which means that, you know, if they're with Arlo, basically he got to stay with his litter until he was 6 months old. He got to stay with his litter and his parents until he was 6 months old, which means that he got really good at being a dog. She likely was pulled away from her litter when she was young, which means, and pulled away from her mom when she was young, like into the rescue environment, which means that she likely doesn't have great bite inhibition. She's pretty good with people when it comes to that. I mean, we're working on it just a little bit, but in terms of other dogs, when she wants to play with them, she will just bark at them or bite their face, like their lips or their ears or something.
She's trying to get their attention.
She's trying to get their attention. We have her clipped into a harness. She's seatbelted in. But both Toby and Arlo are correcting her when she kind of like does something that isn't really socially dog acceptable.
It's just gonna take time for her to learn from them.
Mm-hmm. And learn
Which makes me nervous because Toby's not necessarily a good teacher when it comes to socialization,
but Arlo will be here, and I feel like the thing is she's a girl, so he has a little bit more of a guarded sense because he doesn't really like girls, and like it's not that he doesn't like girl dogs, it's just he doesn't play with them really. He's okay being in the area with them. He just is not like, if they try and play with him, he'll just kind of ignore them.
Well, I hope eventually, once Arlo realizes that this bitch ain't gonna leave him, hopefully he'll play with her a little more.
We'll see. But as of right now, both of the dogs are kind of like, oh, she's a puppy. We have to kind of corral her sometimes. Because the thing is things like biting at their face and stuff like that, that's a behavior, that's kind of a young puppy behavior. And 6 months is not really a young puppy. You know, she should know a little bit better at this point. So that's something we've got to work on. Michaela had to get an oil change, so we took her because the place is pet friendly, and we've been working on a couple of her like basics. She's been doing good with sit and recall, and or not necessarily recall, but her name. She obviously doesn't have very good car manners yet. She seems to be relatively comfortable as long as she's like the only dog in the car. We are gonna work a little bit more on that. So we took her to the oil change. She did really good. I have some clips from that. She's a good girl.
On it.
Sunshine down. Good job. Eyes. Good job. Eyes. Yes, good job. Sunshine. Eyes. Good job.
So we're on our way to go officially adopt her. So basically we did a trial period for 3 days just to make sure nothing outrageous was wrong. Today, foster. Well, the technical word is foster. We did a trial in layman words. So we're gonna adopt her today. We're gonna get all of her medical paperwork, which will help us know like what her microchip is like. Because if I bought a Fitbark that doesn't have a GPS, and then like
Her microchip is exactly like Toby's, where basically you have to pay for.
Or I'd say, hey, you know this, I wanted the different one, exchange it. But like I don't know what we're gonna do. It's like, well, she's gonna be with you at all times, but she is a bolter. Like she wants to be out. Like,
So we'll have to train on that.
when she escapes, it's like, bye, see ya, be ya. And we'll work on it. It'll get better over time. But oh, there's like a stairs. I didn't know what the behind thing looked like. So yeah, that's where we're gonna go do, and then we're gonna see like what kind of shots she's had so far and whatever. And then I get to start a new binder for her like Toby's, but I need to make a nicer cover longer than me with my chicken scratch going, Toby's fine now. So,
In terms of her personality, how would you describe her?
She's very go all the time, but she seems very sweet. She just wants to be cuddled, and speaking of the devil, and she basically, when she wants to cuddle with you, it's not the typical cuddling. It's, I'm going to climb on your shoulder and be your parent. So we'll have to work on that. Parent.
Is parrot?
Is parrot.
Parrot? Sunshine. Good job.
So that's interesting. She's very sweet though. And the only thing I'm concerned about right now is that it's been really effing hot here in Wisconsin lately. It's been in the 90s, 85, high 85s for the last couple days. So I take her out for walks. She does good for the first part, but then she'll stop taking treats. And Brielle got to experience this at the dealership when we were outside for a little bit, and I said, she's not gonna, like, I want you to see what I'm dealing with, and she stopped taking treats, and like, I'm like, see what I mean? Like,
We went inside and she cooled off a little bit, and then she was really good, and those are the couple clips that I'll show you. Is basically she was doing really good with, like, basically all she knows right now is sit, down, stand, eyes, which I'm working on. I just started that today, and I was messing around a little bit with a hand scratch alert, but that's kind of it. That's just me messing around.
and I tried to get her to do touch this morning, but
Oh yeah, touch. I was working on touch too. So, and then she's working on heel.
yeah, because we want to do heel from the get-go, not just me not knowing to teach Toby heel until Brielle got in the mix, and then by then he was like 6, and it's like, teach an old dog a new trick, you know?
So we have not used any, in terms of like any corrective tools, any tools that we're going to be using eventually. The only thing we've had her on is a slip lead, and we've been using a harness like 90% of the time.
But I guess I've been feeling really frustrated because I feel like when I correct her, I don't feel like it's being understood.
Right, because we say but she doesn't really know
Or
what that
no,
means.
or you can correct her with the leash, but it doesn't make sense to her, I don't think.
So,
Because she can still ignore me as much as she wants.
so I feel like we're ready to start kind of looking at like what corrective tools we're going to be using. As far as I know, they used slip leads at the rescue. Look at, Jesus, you can't drive like that. Get off.
As soon as we can check her for heartworm, we will, like, as soon as we can. Because typically they don't, from what we were told, they typically don't check until 7 months.
Yeah.
And that's like the earliest. I guess when we were talking to the lady, it was like, well, didn't you know you're supposed to contact us if the dog gets heartworm? I'm like, yeah, no. Because when I said to my trainer, I said, hey, what should we, not her, the previous trainer, I said, what should we do about this fact that Toby's got heartworm? She's like, oh, don't worry about it. He'll be fine. You're fine.
Not the case.
Which is not the case, obviously. But she was like, don't contact the rescue. The dog will be fine. Not a big deal. So now I know after speaking to them that yes, if there's something wrong with Sunshine, I will contact them and let them know.
Have you given them out the name yet?
Not in the vlog.
She's doing really good though. I'm honestly
she's
so
doing really
excited. She's doing so good, and Michaela bought her a bunch of shit already, and
Hence
I like
why I
her.
have a big credit card bill.
So she is
But
probably,
we didn't have like any puppy toys, and she can't necessarily play with all the toys that Toby Gnarl can. So.
she is probably a lab shepherd mix.
Her sister went home with Willy Wonka. The Willy Wonka couple.
She likes being cuddled. You're gonna adopt a dog today. How do you feel?
I'm nervous because the last couple days I feel like I've been pulling my hair out. I haven't updated the vlog at all. We got into some family drama the night we brought her home. So I was basically bawling the rest of the night. And then yesterday was just really stressful because
She's not used to having a puppy.
I'm not used to having a puppy. And basically, Toby, at least when I got him, he jerked me he would pull me all over. But she like jerks me and she trips me and she jumps on me, and my brain just doesn't, like, it just goes, why? Can you not do that? And obviously she's a puppy, but like the tripping thing is big, especially for someone who has like balance issues with POTS. It's like one of those times she's going to trip me and I'm going to fall. So it's just I have to be really careful. And I ordered her dog tag today. It'll be here within 5 business days. So for a couple days I need to just be tethered to her and make sure she doesn't bolt. And then of course as we go on, I would like to get her. I have to go back to City Hall and get her licensed. We are going to be there in 4 minutes. So it's not going to take us long at all. Bye.